Will these coming 4 years be the biggest test of our diplomacy? PM Modi and Mr. Trump have finalized deals in which India purchases F-35 fighter jets, automobiles, oil and gas in the US. While it's good to have different options in countries providing us with essential goods, how will we be able to manage relations with Russia and China? It will be difficult to purchase military goods as well as energy from both US and Russia simultaneously. The next 4 years are going to be very interesting, and they're going to be pretty difficult for India. It is not true that we have finalized a deal for purchasing F-35 fighter jets. Our foreign ministry has put out a categorical statement that this is just a suggestion that Mr. Trump has made. We have not agreed to any such thing, and we will discuss this possibly in the future. Automobiles, we may be buying from them. Sure, oil and gas, we're definitely going to be buying from them just to make them happy and not make them angry is actually and so on. So it's good to have options, yes. It's going to be the cliche is the tightrope walking act, right? That we're going to try and balance out the relations. We want to be, we don't want to make the Americans unhappy. We don't want to make them angry, but we also want to safeguard our excellent relations with Russia. And the upcoming Ukraine war end game is going to give us a good opportunity to, it's going to be good in the sense that the US and Russia, once this happens, won't really be adversaries or enemy nations. There will definitely be adversaries, geopolitical adversaries, but they won't be enemies fighting a war, either directly or by proxy. So once the Ukraine war ends on whatever terms the two nations negotiate, then then Mr. Trump and Mr. Putin probably will regard each other not as enemies anymore, kind of friends. So they have decided that they will visit each other's nations. So once that happens, tensions calm down. And once that happens for us, it's good. So we can now say, look, we are dealing with Russia, but Russia is not your enemy. You're on good terms with Russia. So, it should not be a problem for you. So it's going to give us more breathing space. What about China? I think with China, it's going to be difficult. The Chinese have made overtures to us the past few months. They, you know, the troops which were in advanced positions across the undemarcated LAC have been withdrawn. The state of high alert has gone down, and whatever territorial gains the Chinese may have done have been ruled back, and both sides have gone back to the previous pre 2020 or whatever patrolling routes and all that. So there have been efforts to diffuse the situation, and the efforts have worked. Mr. Modi and Mr. Xi Jinping also met in one of the recent events a few months ago. So there are efforts ongoing to normalize relations to whatever extent is possible between India and China. Now the Chinese are not doing this because they've changed, they've had a change of heart and they suddenly love us. They're doing it because they're pragmatic, they're practical. The US market is now going to be very soon off limits to them because of trades and tariffs. Trump will make sure of that. The EU will do whatever Trump says. So which other big market does he have left? Africa is not a market. Russia is not that big of an economy or a market. The only big giant market left is India. So China will need to normalize relations with us to be able to export their stuff to our market. That's what they want. Otherwise, they have nowhere to export to. That's the problem. Now, the Americans, now Trump, definitely wants to put a lid and curbs on China. China is the big adversary. He is the guy, after decades of pro-China policies, to start the trade war against China. He is the first president since the 1960s to reverse US policy on China and go all out in a trade war against China. And now he's back. So his objective will be to contain China. And India is the linchpin in this. He can't tell Russia to stop dealing with China, but he can certainly tell us. We are a much smaller nation. Our hard power is 1/20th of the 1/25th of the US almost. 1/20th of the US. So they can definitely arm twist us. And there's nothing we can do about it. So it'll be dicey between us and China. It depends on various factors. It depends on how well Mr. Modi negotiates. He's definitely a great negotiator, Mr. Modi, a tough negotiator. And if he's able to negotiate it right, then we may even be able to have a good relationship relatively with the Chinese. So the next 4 years are going to be very interesting. A lot of unknown parameters exist right now. Not really unknown, but hidden parameters. It's like things being in a quantum superposition. Even this is possible, even that is possible. Multiple things are possible at the same time. It all depends on which way the box is opened and whether the cat is dead or alive, that sort of thing. So, yeah, the next 4 years are going to be difficult. They're going to be very interesting. But I think Mr. Modi is a great negotiator and he has a great equation and relationship with Mr. Trump. So, I'm sure we'll work things out in a way that's beneficial for us and our relationships with various nations.